Over the last few years, the market for fitness trackers has massively exploded. We've seen smartwatches, of course, things like Fitbits. But what if it wasn't on your wrist, but instead on your fingers? Yes, there are now fitness trackers that come in the form of rings. There's an array of them that are rolling out around the world. But do they work? Are they any good? And if you buy one of them for your friend for Christmas, are you kind of telling them that they're fat? I don't know. Let's debate that. We've got Olivia Rosenman here, who is an audio producer and a journalist and just very smart, and we enjoy having her around. And Ariel Bogle is a technology journalist, also very smart, and we enjoy having you around. It's not a competition, guys. All right, so there's a service that has started rolling out in Australia and around the world. It's called Motiv, M-O-T-I-V. I don't know which of the fingers it is, right? It'll be on one of them. What is it? How does it work?
It has a heart rate monitor in it, so kind of like the other fitness trackers that you might wear on your wrist, your Fitbits or your Apple Watch. So it has that heart rate monitor, it has an accelerometer, so you can track your steps and stuff presumably. It also has sleep tracking, and like a lot of these products, it connects to an app so you can sort of quantify your health,
your existence.
Yeah, and so there's that one. There's another one called Oura.
That one's, I think it's Oura.
Yeah,
a
which
Finnish one.
Apparently Prince Harry wears.
Oh, really?
There's all these photos of Prince Harry wearing
They just got $20 million from some big wig investor.
There's also Blink and a few of the other ones. But the thing I was going to say with you, this is funny and I like to make fun of it. However, as a person that's owned an Apple Watch and not worn it for ages, in part because I don't like how it feels typing wearing a watch, I can actually see the logic of this.
Look, I think if you want to quantify all your bits and bobs, wrong word, all your vital measurements.
Commit to bits and bobs for sure.
Bits and bobs. It seems good, right? So it is different to a smartwatch as well, in that it doesn't sync with your email and your text messages. You're not responding to phone calls or anything on that. It really is focused on your fitness and your sleep. Yeah, so it's sort of much more analogous to a Fitbit. It's there on your ring rather than on your wrist, which, look, I actually hate wearing anything on any of my hands and digits, so I find it all weird, but it makes sense to me that it is less cumbersome and also more stylish. That's definitely what they're going for. So, you know, the complaint is that the Fitbit, even though they've tried to pare them down and make them look as, you know, slimline as possible, they're still a weird piece of plastic around your wrist. Something that they do quite differently is they're sort of taking a different approach to your activity in measuring your exercise activity over the week rather than in a daily goal.
And they've got that. Why disaggregate it in that way?
Well, it's apparently based on a recommendation from the Centre for Disease Control in the States that recommends this weekly aggregate rather than a daily one, probably just because it's more achievable for a lot of people. I think, you know, there's this idea if you haven't made it for 3 days in a row, you kind of lose hope. So it's,
you've got makeup
people.
days. Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, I think that there's some logic to that.
And there's also a slight difference in that it's really focused on active exercise. So whereas your Fitbit is counting, you know, the trip downstairs to the kitchen to get a snack or, you know, walking to the train station, all of that. Motiv is really focused on those active exercise bursts and sort of they say that not all steps are in fact created equal and you do need to be dedicating exercise time, which is, I don't know, I'm more a fan of incidental exercise, but what can you say?
Yeah, some of us are fat and some of us need to be more intentional about our exercise than you, Olivia.
I guess one of my predictions, and I don't think it's surprising, we've seen these trend coming from a mile away, but a lot of the big tech companies are moving really heavily into health. Of course, they've got all these gizmos, which, you know, health professionals, I think, regard with a dose of skepticism. You know, of course, it's better for people to be active, and if it prompts you to be active to quantify your steps, more power to you, but it's not really, shouldn't be looked at as a medical device.
Yeah.
But Apple strongly tried to move into this space with some of the updates to the watch this year. It's got a full monitor and something to do, an EKG, which has some sort of tacit FDA approval. It's not a full FDA approval in the US, but it's some step towards it.
I think they had a whole bunch of really positive news stories where, like, an Apple Watch told him he was having a heart attack. Find out the details at 6. Yeah, and so I think they lent into that.
But they're also leaning into this health research space.
Yeah.
So they're not the only ones. Google is too. Surely Facebook will go down this, God knows.
I thought the Facebook were too busy focusing on dating. Remember dating?
Yeah. But
man.
I wonder if it's a push towards an older demographic, recognizing that young people are hard to get to pay for anything these days. If you can make useful health wearables that a doctor might actively recommend or prescribe to someone, that's got to be a huge money spinner. And
Totally.
that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from some of these developments.
I'd be curious to see how it plays out, particularly as smart rings try and proliferate over the Christmas period. All right, there's lots more of this in the podcast of Download the Show. It is available right now on whichever podcasting app you happen to peruse. Huge thank you to our panelists this week, and we will catch you next time.